Hello and welcome to the pre-show for the 11th Annual New York Game Awards. My name is Sumit Sarkar from Polygon. Hello and welcome to the pre-show for the 11th Annual the Games of the Year for 2021. First up is Christopher Bird from the Washington Post. And then we've got Jordan Miner from PC Mag.
Hello, happy to be here.
Carolyn Pettit from Kotaku.
Hey, folks.
And Sharia L. Smith from Laptop Mag.
Hey, all.
Everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm very excited to talk about the best games of 2021. To start, I want to list the nominees for our own Game of the Year award, just so everyone has them, and so we can go through them. We've got Chicory, A Colorful Tale, Dwarf Romantic, Metroid Dread, Resident Evil Village, Psychonauts 2, Life is Strange, True Colors, Halo Infinite, and Deathloop. So I'll start with you, Carolyn. I know that you have some strong feelings, as you told me earlier, about Life is Strange, True Colors. You know, what really stuck out to you with that, and you know, why did it resonate with you?
Sure. So True Colors is, I think, you know, in a sense, it's very much what maybe people who've played the earlier Life is Strange games have come to expect, which is something I like. It's this sort of warm, sincere, you know, kind of storytelling approach. It kind of wears its heart on its sleeve. It has like a kind of indie music vibe, and you know, narratively, I definitely liked True Colors. But I have to say that where I think this entry really set a new standard for the series, and where it really did something remarkable that pulled me in, was in regard to how effectively it uses the faces of, particularly it's the lead character, but you know, I'd say the main cast as they interact with each other. It understands, you know, the creative team that handled just the animations in that game and the motion capture and everything, understands that like subtlety in expression can communicate a great deal. So you'll have these moments where the main character, Alex Chen, you know, much like watching the performance of a great actor in say a film or, you know, on television, maybe there's just a slight shift in her eyes or a slight kind of ambiguity that plays across her face, and it just seems to communicate so much. And so I'm not saying that the game has like the most photorealistic faces, you know, the most polygons in its faces from a technological standpoint. It definitely has a bit of a stylized art style, but I do think that it really is remarkable what it does just with, within that art style, with the use of just, you know, subtle facial expressions. It really pulled me in a way that no game in the series had before from that standpoint.
Indeed, really impressive performance capture there. So from that, I want to go to Jordan, and I want to hear about a game where you can't see the protagonist's face. That's Halo Infinite, because he's got a helmet on.
Oh, they're going to talk
nice
about Resident Evil.
So yeah, you know, I feel like, I imagine we've got some more folks on here who've played Halo Infinite, who are familiar with Halo Infinite. But Jordan, you know, are you a multiplayer guy? You're a campaign guy? Tell me about it.
So I'm really not a multiplayer guy, and actually, I went on a real Halo journey this year because I played through all of them, mostly for the first time, like a year ago on my Series S through Game Pass, and was surprised by how well a lot of them held up. You know, obviously some of them are really old games, but sort of that core Halo gunplay and like these open environments and the pacing. I thought like, oh yeah, this is right. Halo is really important. Like, turns out people were right all along. And what really surprised me about Halo Infinite was just how like novel it felt to import sort of that classic Halo, again, like the gunplay and the pacing, into this like, you know, this open world format. It really kind of like gave it a new life I wasn't expecting, while still feeling very much in line with like, you know, what that feeling you got playing those expansive, you know, the Silent Cartographer, those expansive levels in the original Halo. Kind of stuff like, oh, like this is what like the original Far Cry was almost drawing from, is sort of like expansive like levels. I wasn't so much into when it would then transition into the kind of these more linear corridor levels. I was definitely more into the open world aspect. But like I definitely like zip lined and like electrocuted a lot of aliens. So that was great. That's video games to me, is punching aliens.
Yes, a lot of punching in that game, surprisingly so, but really, you got to give it a shot. Christopher and Sheree, I'm wondering for you two where the game of the year nominees really struck you or didn't. Sheree, I'll start with you here. Which ones on our list, the nominees I mentioned before, were some of your favorites?
Definitely Deathloop and Resident Evil Village. Deathloop, it gave me everything that I loved about the Dishonored series and put it in a Mod Squad 60s type of aesthetic. The action was fast paced. The powers were familiar yet new. The writing was excellent. I love the camaraderie between Colt and Juliana and the twist ending. And even though it is a Groundhog Day type of game, there was always some new wrinkle introduced, whether it was the time of day you were playing, what power Juliana was wielding when she popped up, what the mission was. Like, I had a blast playing Deathloop. And Resident Evil, it just keeps getting better. Like, even though we're not talking about VR, like Resident Evil 4 VR, it definitely is stepping the game up for virtual reality the way that Resident Evil 4 originally stepped the way that the series evolved. So it's doing the same for VR. But Village, I had a blast with it. The bosses were new and different and creepy in their own ways. That baby in the dollhouse was not okay by any means. And it's just fun. It made it fun to be scared, as Resident Evil always does, and it gave that healthy dose of action. And I'm on my second replay, so that should say enough right there.
Very cool. Christopher, I know you've got some of the indies as your faves. You were telling me, I didn't mention the indie nominees for us, but Sable is one of those games among them. Was that one of the ones that really stuck out to you from 2021?
Absolutely. I thought that Sable was kind of a miracle, considering that it was made by such a small team of, I believe, first-time developers. I really loved how Sable was able to repurpose the Zelda the formula of exploration and adventure and puzzle solving. And to be able to do that in a package without combat, I was pretty blown away by it. It is a deeply atmospheric game with a just phenomenal soundtrack. The Japanese breakfast soundtrack is incredible. It was a game that I thought will open the doors for other types of exploration-focused games. Whereas before, we used to think of walking simulators and really like the limitations that format has. This seems to, I think, expand upon the idea of exploring a virtual world. And I also like the laissez-faire aspect that they have with regard to it, and the fact that you can take a puzzle, you can solve it, you don't have to solve it, but you still feel really immersed in the world. So I was quite satisfied playing that one.
Very cool. Looking at some of our other Game of the Year nominees, where are my Metroid people at? That's one that came out in the fall in October, and I feel like definitely took a lot of people by surprise. Sheree, tell me about your experience with Metroid Dread.
I mean, one thing's for sure, you will dread playing this game. Like, it's a blast, but
nice.
it gave me, like, I'm an 80s baby, and I remember being a kid and dying over and over and over again. And you will do that in Metroid Dread over and over and over and over. Damn those Emmys. Damn them to hell, particularly the blue one and the yellow one. But it gave you everything that you expect from a Metroid. It's the originator of the Metroidvania I love backtracking. I love acquiring new powers and then having to go back and explore and see what else I can unlock and getting all the missiles and power-ups and everything before I go to the final boss. The story was just enough to keep you enthralled, and those Emmys, like no one strategy worked on everyone. You had to stay on your toes. You never knew where they were coming, and one false step and it was game over. So I definitely love Metroid Prime, and I recommend it to anyone that has a Switch.
Jordan, you also wanted to?
Yeah, I was also surprised because I wasn't a huge fan of Metroid: Samus Returns, which is Mercury Steam's first attempt at a Metroid game. At that point, I was kind of done with the 3DS, which isn't really the game's fault. But also, I feel like they were too beholden to the structure of that Game Boy game, while also kind of not getting it in some other ways. But to see them now have their chance to do an original Metroid game with original concepts, like we mentioned the Emmys and stuff, and to be on the Switch, which it looks a lot better than any 2D Metroid game ever has. I was surprised by how much I liked it, actually.
And the game mechanics are fantastic in that. Early on, you just the way in which that game keeps expanding upon the repertoire of Samus and which she can do, I absolutely loved. I love that. I always felt like that game has a great internal momentum to it. Sherry, you mentioned backtracking. One of the things that I really liked about it is the backtracking I found to be very legible. Like I never got lost, or very rarely did I ever have to wonder where to go. And I thought that was a triumph for them in terms of game design. Yeah.
Very impressive stuff. And we've also got a couple of games among our nominees that spoke about mental health in some interesting ways. Looking at Psychonauts 2 and Chicory: A Colorful Tale. Carolyn, you were telling me that Chicory was something that really enjoyed.
Yeah, I appreciate. I think that games, Chicory, I would say, is part of this kind of maybe this renaissance. Well, not even a renaissance, but this sudden kind of relatively recent surge of games that go for a more what we might call like wholesome kind of vibe. And I think, and obviously that's something broadly speaking that I want to support and encourage, but I think it can be a tricky space to navigate because I do think that some games that try to operate in that space end up maybe feeling a little weightless or flimsy, like they don't have enough like weight or substance to them, or they can be overly saccharine. So what I really appreciate about Chicory is that it's definitely this colorful, upbeat, game that really empowers you as the player to kind of, express yourself through color in this very kind of free-form way, while still having a structure that is kind of traditional in terms of a satisfying narrative progression and the quest to go on. But it also, it really speaks about art and creativity in ways that I think, will ring true to a lot of people who have a creative impulse, who are artists or writers, or because you'll have characters kind of you might paint something in the game at certain points, and other characters will like regard what you've just created and kind of share their reactions to it, and they may have very different reactions to it, which I love because I think it kind of acknowledges and celebrates sort of the subjectivity of our experiences with art and creative works, and the player character in that game has a creative impulse, and it deals with the kind of the insecurities that artistic people can have, the self-doubt, while also I think being ultimately very like affirming and supportive of the creative impulse, and not just narratively but through its mechanics, which is always something I like to see, that marriage of where I feel like the way a game plays really meshes with what it's thematically and narratively trying to communicate, which very often is not the case in games, in my experience. So, bonus points for that.
Did anyone play Wander Song, I think by some of the same people who worked on this?
I did not, unfortunately.
Okay. I played that and I liked it, and it made sense that some of the same people, because a lot of the conversation around it sounds really similar with how the game approached music and just sort of optimism. So that's cool that they're still at it.
Then going back to Psychonauts, I thought that was a really kind of impressive success story. Thinking about the original game from the mid 2000s was, kind of this cult game, this cult hit that, if you try to go back to it now, it doesn't really feel great maybe to play. But I don't remember hearing a lot of those criticisms of 2. I think they really nailed it. And of course, the art and the charm that Double Fine and the writing that they're known for.
Absolutely.
I think playing, because I definitely went to replay Psychonauts 1 before I went to play 2. Playing it as an older, wiser adult, I definitely appreciate the themes more. Particularly in 2, where you're dealing with things like you're dealing with some characters are dealing with coming to grips with their sexuality. Others are dealing with alcoholism and feelings of inadequacy. Others are like, there were so many issues that as an adult, I was like, I can relate with at least some of this. And like the way that Double Fine chose to represent those mental illnesses as you journey through the brain was really, really inspired.
Absolutely. And the last game among the nominees, I don't know if anyone here has played it, but it's called Dorfromantik. That's one that, our circle is a group of people with wide and varying interests. So, always cool to see some smaller games, some, niche games, some unique games get into the top category at the awards. Now, I want to, start wrapping this up. So, we've covered the Game of the Year nominees, but in terms of 2021 in gaming, were there any particular, trends that you could identify, or just think about your impressions of the year, what kind of quickly stuck out to you, and obviously now we've had some big developments in 2022, but thinking about last year, how things went with the games and what they say about the industry. Carolyn, I'll start with you.
Wow, putting me on the spot here a little bit. I wasn't prepared for this question, but it's a good one. So as I'm, particularly concerned about the conversations that are happening around like how games are made, the labor issues, that surround the games industry, whether the people who make games are being treated fairly. And so for me, I guess the biggest trend in 2021, and it did involve, a lot of pain and trauma being aired, but was, I think, those issues maybe coming more to light, maybe public sentiment beginning to build around the need to take those issues seriously, the need to like hold companies to account. And so, I guess I'm just hopeful. I'm trying to be hopeful and optimistic that, where maybe those conversations can lead us toward is an industry where the people who make games are more often, safe and happy and healthy enough to do the best creative work that they can do in an environment where they feel safe. And that for me, I guess, is what I think of most when I think of 2021.
Certainly a huge issue, an ongoing issue. Jordan, what about you?
I'll keep it short. NFTs are worthless and bad and don't belong in video games or anywhere and should go away.
Well, I think you're going to be disappointed by where 2022 goes, but Christopher, anything in particular for you about the year in games?
Well, I was heartened by, you mentioned Sable before, but also by Genesis Noir. I'm always, I always look for what is new, what is different. And I suppose my lingering concern with video games is a perennial concern, which is there's so much incentive for franchises and for sequels, and those can be great. Look at Psychonauts 2, obviously, but I hope that there is still plenty of incentive in the industry for experimentation and just try new things, and especially to try new things that don't revolve around the same hero narratives that are what video games are usually predicated on. Let's have something else.
Totally. Sheree, last word. I'll go to you.
Concerns, game bloating. Some games were a little bit too much, and that's a lot for me to say as a completionist. I love going to every nook and cranny, but there were some games that I just could not complete. I will get back to them eventually, but the worlds, as beautiful as they were a bit too vast, and maybe we need to shrink a little bit, not too much, but like enough to make it a palatable experience. I was actually surprised by Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, especially after Avengers and how bad that was received the year before. So I did not think that they would make as good a game as they did. It surprised me on how it looked. It surprised me on gameplay, and it absolutely blew me away when it came to story. So if we can get more of that for 2022, I think we will be well off as gamers and critics.
All right. Well, Sheree, that's awesome. An awesome note to end on. I also loved Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was a favorite among a lot of folks. But I think that's where we'll have to put a bow on things. Thank you to our esteemed panel for joining us: Christopher Bird from the Washington Post, Carolyn Pettit from Kotaku, Sheree Smith from Laptop Mag, and Jordan Miner from PC Mag. And I'm Smith Sarkar from Polygon. We're going to now throw to Jeff Keighley, some very special people, our interns at the Critics Circle. Thanks for watching.
Well, hi guys, it's great to see you. This is always fun for me. Every year it seems like to hear from you guys the future of the gaming industry. And all the students that have been learning about games through the DreamYard program and the TAP school we're going to get into and everything. But first of all, Ronald, I want to talk to you because you got to be an intern. You are an intern at Rockstar Games. Is that right?
Yeah, got to be. It was earlier last year in 2021, around the March month. It was really fun to get in touch with Rockstar Games, see how the inner workings go about.
That's amazing. Yeah, because Rockstar put together this internship for a student, and you got to be the student. Dream for anyone, I think, to get to be a part of Rockstar or learn from that. And tell me, what was the experience like for you? What did you learn about? I'm sure you can't talk about the specific games, but what did you learn about the experience of what it's like to make a game and work in a video game company?
It was definitely enlightening. When you see game companies out there, you see, all the things they do, all the stuff they put together for like newsletters and stuff. That's the main thing I had a firsthand look at is the newsletter for online modes like Red Dead Online and GT Online. I got to see the stuff that goes into that. And what Rockstar actually does is very interesting. They pay a lot of attention to what the fans are saying about the online modes and what's happening in them. And they try to make new events or try to formulate new ideas around what fans are talking about. They go to social media like Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. They do deep dives and things like that, pulling just data on all the things that people talk about, all the races they like, all the cars they like to see and things like that. It's very interesting, and it made me like appreciate people that work in communications and things like that, because it helps you see a side of the company that you don't usually see, that the fact that most companies pay close attention to what their fans are actually saying, what they like, what they dislike, and things like that, so that they can, better help formulate things like with strictly online games like GTA or Red Dead Online. They can help make new events, put out new bounties in Red Dead, put out new items of clothing, new cars and all that stuff, new horses. And it's very very nice, very warming to see the fact that, there is attention being paid to the fans of the online modes and things like that.
That's awesome. So does this inspire you even more to want to get a job and stay in the gaming industry?
Oh yes, definitely. It just off of the fact that, there are plenty of good things about the gaming, industry that you can highlight and that you can experience, especially things like, fan integration and all that stuff. And I want to see more of it.
Awesome. Well, that's so cool and so great that Rockstar was able to put together that internship for you guys as part of this program. we can turn to some of the other folks here. Steve, let me start with you because you play an interesting role in all this, and tell us a bit about you're one of the educators that is inspiring these guys to want to learn more about games and teaching them about it. Tell us a bit about your role and your school, TAP, and how that kind of fits into everything.
Yeah, so actually, I previously taught at DreamYard. Ronald was one of my students, so it's exciting to hear.
Oh,
him
so it all comes full circle here. Okay.
Yeah, it's all full circle. And now I'm teaching at TAPCO, which is the Theater Arts Production Company school where Caroline goes. And at both of the schools, my role has been to be a facilitator for the New York Video Game Critics Circle Scholarship Program. And so we meet weekly, and we, kind of play off of the students' already natural interest in gaming to develop their writing skills. And at the end of the 10 or 12 week program, we select 3 winners who win scholarship money for college, which is amazing for our students.
That's so great. And I'm sure there's lots of interest in gaming. Caroline, let's talk a bit about you. You're at TAP learning about theater, production, storytelling. Have you always been interested in video games, or is this something new?
Well, ever since a very young age, I was kind of exposed to the concept of gaming, but it was up until recently where the pandemic and everything, and people don't really have much to do. So you just kind of get more into it and kind of explore the realm of possibility when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, well, there's so many possibilities out there. Tell us a bit about how gaming has been part of the curriculum in your classes.
Well, I feel like gaming personally, it's a lot of hands-on activity. So me personally, I love to learn, especially when it comes to with games. Like me growing up, I learned math with ABC Yaw and cool math games. And that just made learning 10 times more fun. And it made it, I guess, more worthwhile because I was having fun while still educating myself on different topics.
Yeah, I know you guys have studied some video games, and I heard that you even studied some scenes in games and some great narrative games like The Last of Us Part 2, and you actually studied some of those games. Tell us a bit about that.
It was definitely crazy to see. You can really see how much dedication is put into each character because it's crazy how much amount of work can go into a minute of gaming or a minute of content within a game. And I guess I'm really grateful to be able to be a part of like a program like this where I'm able to kind of see that take place or even meet people who have underwent that process and where other people have been able to witness that.
Yeah, it is, as you said, very similar to theater, right? That these actors are on a stage and they're being performance captured. And obviously there are lots of amazing stories. And I've always believed that some of the best stories out there in games are from companies like Rockstar and like Naughty Dog that do amazing storytelling. Has this changed your sort of career trajectory or how you're thinking about like what you want to do in sort of theater or production?
Personally, I feel like gaming is really fun. I'm still really focused on what I want to do when it comes to career-wise.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure. Like you never know what the future holds. I don't know if I might want to pursue.
What do you want to do career-wise? There are lots of people watching here. Tell us your dreams.
I want to study. I don't know what it is, medicine, but I want to. I want to be a psychologist or. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, those are 2 noble professions, psychology and medicine. So I'm not going to hold you from those, but gaming obviously is, as you said, tons of fun. And it's so cool that you guys are exposed to these amazing games, these amazing companies at such a young age, which is really, really awesome. Amani, let me talk a little bit to you about you're at the DreamYard program, I know, and a big gamer, right? I hear you like to play a lot of Fortnite.
Yes, I do. I play a lot of Fortnite, but sometimes I'm mostly on Apex Legends, and that's about it.
That's awesome. Well, those are 2 very good games, games that have been nominated for awards in the past. What is the Video Game Critics Circle and their program and scholarships and everything at DreamYard? Like, how has that enhanced your opportunity to kind of be exposed to games or people in gaming? Can you maybe tell us a bit about some of the things that you guys have done?
Well, we have done different writing, and I have took a couple of his classes and exposed me to new other games and basically games I've never seen before.
That's cool. Do you remember some of the ones or what you were writing about? What kind of games?
Well, I think I can't remember because it was like so long ago. It was like 6 months ago.
That's cool. Well, I'm sure you got to, but so you get to review some of the games. You'd write reviews of them or comments on them. Like, what's the kind of writing that you guys would do?
We would just like each get a task to do. Like he would write about the graphics or the audio. I would write about like what's happening.
Cool. It's a great creative writing exercise. When I started out as a kid, I was writing about games and talking about how you feel when you play them and what they look like and sound like. Do you hope to maybe do something in your career related to gaming?
Yeah, I really just want to like start streaming more because I haven't got I haven't got the Twitch started yet.
Okay. Well, that's the next step, I guess, right? Start doing streaming. That's what everyone does these days. Do some streams and get ready to talk about games and be an influencer maybe, and eventually, maybe one day make your own game. So that's so cool that you guys are being exposed to all these games and criticism of games and commentary about games at such a young age. Alicia, I wanted to talk to you a bit about your experience with gaming. And first of all, I got a tip that you're really into horror. Is that right?
Yeah, I really love horror.
That's amazing. So have you played any horror games? Are you allowed to play horror games?
Yeah. My favorite horror game is probably Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, you definitely played some horror games. That's fun. Tell us a bit about your association with the Critics Circle and DreamYard. You've been in some of the programs that include games as part of the curriculum.
Yeah, so we had to write pieces as well. So we had to write a poem, a game review, and we had to create like our own storyline of the game. So for my game review, I wrote about Minecraft and how it only includes like a Caucasian girl as a default skin and a black male as default skin. And I just thought that they discluded like people of color because you have to buy a skin from or just download it from a whole different website in order to look like yourself in the game. And I didn't really like that, so I wrote about that. And for my poem, I took a real life experience because in Little Nightmares, I used that game for the poem. I basically compared it because 6 in the game, she betrays the boy. His name is Mono, and that happened to me because a friend betrayed me before. And in my my game, the storyline, I wrote about how a girl, she has to like save the world basically, but no one believes her, and they think that she's crazy because she's schizophrenic, and she was always in the mental hospital for having a bad reputation. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. Little Nightmares is a beautiful game. Have you played Little Nightmares too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool what they've done. I mean, it's the Tarsier, what they've done with the look of that game, and especially if you like horror games, it's got certainly some kind of, I mean, not super horrific, but it's got that kind of spooky sort of feel to it as you play through it. So that's really cool. So you did a poem about that experience?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's very cool. And you also talked about studying scenes of games and kind of, even putting together your own kind of video game scenario, I guess. Is that what you guys do? It's like a creative writing exercise?
Yeah. So it's like also what Imani said, like we look at games or play them and then we just write a review about it. So we do that too.
Yeah. Well, I love that video games are part of your curriculum. That's one of the great things about this program is that, folks at your age get exposed to games. It sounds like you already have played some games and are fans of them, but to understand more about them and what goes into them, I think is so fantastic. And, the industry only keeps growing and there are so many new games and things like that always coming out. It's really pretty exciting. Did you guys have you had a favorite game that you've all played recently? I know tonight we're going to find out a lot of the winners and all the from the nominees, but do you guys have any favorites right now?
I think my favorite is probably Rec Room.
Yep.
Because you get to play like a lot of games there too.
That's a really fun one, you said, because you can do sort of almost anything in there, right? And have tons of fun together and gather. It's very social, right? Which is one of the other aspects of games that everyone loves is how social they are. That's cool. Anyone else? Ronald, I'm sure you love Rockstar games, but you love some other ones too?
Rockstar Games do have a special place in my heart, but as of recently, I've been actually delving into a lot of games. My favorite, I can't really boil it down, so my favorite series has been the Yakuza collection as of recently. I'm really getting into the Yakuza. It's building up to Like a Dragon. I want to finish off the year with that, so yeah.
Very, very cool. Caroline, I know we talked about Last of Us. Are there any other games that have piqued your interest over the past year?
Honestly, I don't know. I've learned about a lot of new games, like Felicia, I think. Is that how you say your name? Like Felicia said, Little Nightmares. I learned about that game a few months ago, and I thought it was really interesting how it was like almost switching perspectives through every I don't know, like every bound. And some people would record videos or upload them to YouTube where they would go out of bounds. So I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could do that.
There's a whole channel, the Out of Bounds channel on YouTube, which is fascinating, right? It's like sort of all like behind, on movie set, it's like kind of behind the facades, right? Like what's actually going on behind the sets and things like that. So yeah, it's pretty fun what you can do with all these digital games if you break into them and go out of bounds. Yeah, that's really cool. Awesome. And what about you, Ani? You're talking about Apex. Any other games that you're excited about to play in the future or play?
Basically, I used when I was 3, I used to play Call of Duty 1 for 2 years with my dad, and then after
when you were 3 years old, you used to play Call of Duty?
Yeah.
All right.
So then I finally came back to it, and now I'm just starting to play Cold War.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure we should advise people if you have 3-year-old kids to play Call of Duty, but Amani, it looks like you turned out okay and you love video games, so it all worked out. But that's cool. Yeah, there's so many amazing games across the industry, such a diverse slate of games. You talk about, Rec Room to Call of Duty to, Little Nightmares. It's really awesome to see sort of indie games and social games and big budget games. That's what makes this industry so great, is there's so many different types of games. Well, guys, it was so great catching up with you. Thanks so much for the time, and we're looking forward to hopefully seeing you guys out there working in the gaming industry, making games, performing in games. Caroline, if you're going to go into medicine, it's a noble profession, but we hope that you'll still keep playing games. All right, well, thanks to everyone for joining us for the pre-show, and now it is time for the 11th annual New York Game Awards.
Hi, I'm Bobby from the UK. So, the pandemic and the lockdown that came with it was pretty hard, especially for people with disabilities. I spent lots of time alone, but I decided to shift a lot of my focus then into gaming journalism, especially highlighting accessibility. I found the New York Video Game Critics Circle, and I became a regular contributor there.
On behalf of everyone at Team Xbox, I just wanted to take this opportunity and thank all of you in the games industry. Over the last couple of years, we've seen the power of video games. We've seen how they can bring community and connection to people when they're isolated at home, dealing with tremendous circumstances with family and friends. It's really an honor to know that our industry can do so much for so many people.
In 2020, I felt rather lucky because we've been working remotely and organizing online events even before the pandemics. So it went quite smoothly for us. I was just happy to take a break from travels and business trips. But in 2021, it was already too much.
Hey, this is Mike Wilson, co-founder of Devolver Digital, along with a bunch of other things that we'd probably all rather forget at this point. Congrats to all of you watching this video. We're all still alive, apparently, and still getting to work in video games. So that's quite an accomplishment on both counts.
Hello, New York Video Games Critics Circle. My name is Jim Huntley. I'm a professor and the head of marketing for the #1 ranked USC Games program out of the University of Southern California. I want to thank you for having me digitally be a part of your New York Game Awards. What I love hearing about the fact that you're doing a virtual event is the fact that it's just a good example of how this industry just can't be stopped. No matter what happens, whether it's a pandemic or other problems, we find a way to band together and still make the awesome and fun content and games that people around the world like to play.
A year ago, I got a job as a game designer in LA, although I was living in New York at the time. I struggled a lot with the time difference. After trying it out for a while, my partner and I decided we would move to LA together, and that was kind of terrifying to me. because it was during a pandemic and I would be so far away from family and friends. But we made it. We're here.
Hi, I'm Stan Pierre-Louis, President and CEO of the Entertainment Software Association. COVID has changed every aspect of our lives. We've missed being with friends and family, and we all yearn for human connection and interaction. One bright light through all of this has been the role video games have played to lift our spirits when things seemed their darkest. For me, it's humbling and inspiring to represent an industry whose amazing workforce creates such engaging content, innovative technologies, immersive worlds, and challenging games that spark joy and enable connections that enhance our lives.
For me, one of the big things in gaming last year, as far as getting through the pandemic, was the release of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Because I'd somehow never played those games when they came out, and they're nice, long games, so I played the whole first game. I finished over the summer when it looked like the pandemic was coming to an end, and then that second wave hit, but it was fine. I just played the second game.
Well, what a year 2021 was. Left EA, came back to Vancouver, started up a new studio, Timber Games, part of the Sumo Group. We sadly had to say goodbye to our dog Skip, who left us. And then over the holidays, we all got COVID, but the family was all together and we got through it together and we adopted a puppy. Adopting a puppy, what a great idea. And his name is Bill. This is Bill. 2022, here we go.
Isolation was pretty tough, but I made the most of it and used the circle as an outlet for my creativity. For me, this is just the first step now. I'm more motivated than ever to prove that disabled people deserve a space in this industry.
I realized that I miss travels, I miss offline events, I miss my industry friends, I miss hugging them, talking to them in person, shaking hands, and I hope to hug you all soon.
Pre-pandemic, I had some serious misgivings about what we were doing and about people being on their screens all the time and not out in nature, but I gotta tell you, it really flipped it around for me to see how my son has survived this pandemic, this time, which is a significant chunk of his life because of his connections and his friends and playing online video games. So let's keep making magic, and let's be really intentional about what we put out there, and let's celebrate the fact that games are actually wonderful for people.
I'm also excited about the work underway to make our industry more inclusive and equitable for creators and players alike. That's what makes the work of the New York Video Game Critics Circle so special. Day in and day out, you live those values by providing opportunities to communities that are often overlooked, but where talent abounds. Thank you for the work you do, and congratulations on celebrating your 11th annual awards ceremony.
And right around the time I finished that, Omicron hit, but I have the third game, and I'm still playing that now, and I've got a couple weeks left, and by then I figured the pandemic will be over. And then I just saw that BioWare is making a new one, so that'll probably come in handy at some point too.
Our students, for example, are literally, because of the pandemic, spread across 3 continents, around 6 different time zones, and they're all working collaboratively to make the awesome projects that we will be showcasing as part of our annual USC Games Expo on May 12, 2022. But this is about you. So I'm looking forward to seeing the awesome projects that you all be showing. And again, congratulations on having the awards, and our hearts are with you. We will get through this together, as we always do. Thanks.
And to the players out there who have stuck with us, have come to our art forum to find those connections, to play the games, to kind of make our community so great, thank you to you as well. It's really great that you can be a part of this journey that all of us are on.
Whew, 2021. I'm not gonna lie, 2 years into the pandemic, this was a year of L's both big and small. And I admit, there were times where it seemed like giving up was the only option. But then I think about something Star-Lord said in the huddle. We're fighters. Run now and we betray everything we are. He's right. As a journalist, a gamer, and a human being, now's not the time to throw in the towel. Now's the time to do what we do best: live, thrive, and win. So as we kick off the 11th annual New York Game Awards, I say to 2022, give us your best shot.
Wow, these are really touching, honest stories of humanity and triumph. It's not been easy, but game people, from players to students to devs to executives to our writers, are doing their best to make it through these extraordinary pandemic times. I'm Harold Goldberg, the founder and president of the New York Video Game Critics Circle. Welcome to the 11th New York Game Awards, and thank you, Jeff Keighley, for the great pre-show interviews. Folks, let me introduce my good friend and valued Critics Circle member, Reggie Fils-Aimé. Reggie was born in the historic Bronx and is, as you know, former president of Nintendo of America. He's co-hosting from his office in the wilds of Seattle.
Thanks, Harold. You know, I'm always happy to help out, and I'm excited about tonight's big show. We have so many surprises in store for game fans.
Reggie, you've been busy. In May, you'll have your first big nonfiction book debut. It's called Disrupting the Game: From the Bronx to the Top of Nintendo, and we're all looking forward to it.
You know, Harold, so am I. You know, I've been working on it for over 18 months. It's a business memoir, and that means it tells my personal story as a first-generation American. I write about my family from Haiti and living in some pretty tough conditions there as a kid in the Bronx. I write about making the most of my capability and opportunity to attend Cornell University, have a great 40-year business career culminating with my time at Nintendo, and finding ways now to invest my time to help people and organizations grow. And throughout the book, I give detailed advice that you can apply to your own situation, whether you're a student or an accomplished business person thinking about what's next. The book is going to come out in May, and so be on the lookout as we unveil the cover and more information about the book very soon. And I'm proud to join the ranks of authors like yourself, Harold. You know, with all the writing and editing that I've done, now I know the hard work that writers go through.
Well, congrats, Reggie. You're a bona fide author now. Here's to a best-selling book come May.
Thanks, Harold. But tonight we're here for a different reason. The 11th New York Game Awards are awards that are chosen by our New York Video Game Critics Circle members. We'll give out 16 awards tonight, including our Legend Award and our first Educator Awards to 2 worthy recipients. We'll have some wonderful celebrities, some great music, and wonderful humor from The Daily Show. But we're also a nonprofit that gives back to the community in multiple important ways. And that's why I joined the board, to help the Circle give back.
That's right, Reggie. And we've been working hard all year long to make things better for underserved students in the Bronx. You've helped advise the group and procure corporate donations. Some of us have mentored in schools and homeless residences. In particular, I've been busy setting up scholarships, paid internships, and exciting new classes in the Bronx, all using games and writing as the fulcrum.
That's just great. And you'll hear much more about our efforts tonight. And we hope you'll take the time to donate to the cause. You'll find the link on screen throughout the night.
It's really important to donate. Look, we're in deep. Like, directly next door to one of our schools is the apartment complex whose smoke and fire tragically killed so many a few weeks ago. It's important now more than ever that we reach out to the underserved communities you'll hear about all night tonight. You can help.
I am personally asking you to help in any way with any amount. Right now, let's get to our first 2 awards. Please welcome Mike Andronico from CNN Underscored and Whitney Mears, who recently wrote and edited the Roblox special issue for Newsweek.
2021 was a big year for esports. We saw the return of live, in-person events after more than a year of lockdowns,
and with it came some truly exceptional matches and moments in every competitive genre.
And during this transitional year, certain teams rose above the rest and proved their ability to thrive in any environment, whether it was with newer titles like Valorant or mainstays like League or Counter-Strike.
Here are your nominees for Best Esports Team of the Year. Nada Swinkere, aka Navi, Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Team Spirit, Dota 2.
Edward Gaming, League of Legends.
Atlanta FaZe Clan, Call of Duty League.
And the winner is
Navi for Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
So we just wanted to congratulate Navi on their win. They unfortunately were not able to accept this award themselves, but they had a really incredible year. The absolute best CSGO team throughout the entire competitive season, winning PGL Major Stockholm, the Blast Premier, and like all the teams that we nominated, really did a great job transitioning to this very strange hybrid world of some in-person events coming back, some virtual events, and they remained among the best. So congratulations to them.
Congrats to Navi. Competitive gaming is defined by its players, and 2021 had no shortage of standout performances.
We saw veterans continue to dominate, new faces that broke out big, and competitors that proved they could be the best at more than one game.
Here are your nominees for Best Esports Player of the Year.
Alexander Simple Kostelyev, Counter-Strike Global Offensive for Navi.
Chris Simplier, Call of Duty for Atlanta FaZe Clan.
Xin Li Huang, Overwatch League for Chengdu Hunters.
Lee Scout Yi Chan, League of Legends for Edward Gaming.
Tyson Tens Go, Valorant for Sentinels.
Genki Gen Kumasaka, Tekken 7 for Donuts USG.
And the winner is
Genki Gen Kumasaka, Tekken 7 for Donuts USG.
鉄拳プロプレイヤーのゲンです。このような素晴らしい賞をいただき、とても光栄です。ニューヨークゲームアワードに関わるすべての人に感謝します。そして並びにスポンサー様や、いつもサポートしてくれているドーナツ USG、そしていつも応援してくれている皆様、本当にありがとうございます。昨年はですね、国内大会でも結構優勝することができまして、招待制の海外大会も優勝することができました。まあ、本当に自分の中でもいい結果を収めれた年だったというふうに思っております。来年もこのままの調子で頑張っていきたいと思います。改めて本当にありがとうございました。
Congratulations to our first two winners of the night. We're off to a great start. Folks, there was a time when mobile games were nothing more than black dots on a small green screen. And now they can be almost as graphically detailed and rich in gameplay as a console game. And our students love mobile offerings.
Reggie, our most senior interns have stayed with us for years now, from high school into college. Ronald Gordon has been the first paid intern in our Rockstar Games partnership. And Isaac Espinoza is a passionate assistant mentor and reviewer. They're here with our youngest contributor ever, Imani Brown. All have been given opportunities such as scholarships, mentoring, and free game consoles. Here they are with the A-Train Award for Best Mobile Game.
When it comes to gaming, it's very important to understand that a lot of people don't have the ability to invest. Dual monitor PC setups or every new console that arrives on the shelves or stores.
And it's because of this fact that mobile gaming had become such a convenience for most, a pocket-sized cavalcade of games that you could take anywhere you wanted.
The following nominees for Best Mobile Game have earned their nominations for going beyond a mere convenience, creating an amazing experience for gamers in the year of 2021. These nominees are
Zombie Rollers,
Queen Rock Tour,
Pikmin Bloom,
Crash on the Run,
Marvel Future Revolution,
Nier Reincarnation,
Fantasian,
and the winner of Best Mobile Game is Nier Reincarnation.
皆さんこんばんは。ニーヤシリーズのプロデューサーをしております斉藤です。本日はですね、ニーヤリンカーネーションがニューヨークゲームアワードの A トレインアワード for ベストモバイルゲームを受賞したというニュースを聞き大変嬉しく思っております。はい、ニーヤリンカーネーションはですね、2021年の7月にグローバル版の配信を開始しておりまして、現在ハーフアニバーサリーを迎えております。おかげさまでですね、配信から多くの方にプレイしていただき、感謝の気持ちでいっぱいです。ありがとうございます。またですね、2月にはですね、日本版がファーストアニバーサリーを迎えるということでですね、ニーヤリンカネーション全体で盛り上がっていけるようにですね、グローバル版も頑張っていく所存です。すでにですね、プレイされている方もですね、この機会に新たにプレイを始めていただける方もですね、ニーヤリンカネーションを楽しんでいただけたらなと思っております。これからもですね、ニーヤリンカネーションをどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
Congratulations to our winner. Now, CNET's Dan Ackerman has been with the Circle since our first awards when the entire organization was in full experimentation mode. And so has CNET's Scott Stein, an excellent writer, a good friend who's worked for Sony Online Entertainment back in the day.
So here are Dan and Scott with the Central Park Children's Zoo Award for Best Kids Game.
If there's one thing we've learned from this pandemic, it's that kids like the video games, sometimes a healthy 6 or 7 hours a day.
I've lost track of how many hours it's been, considering I've just been surrounded by them nonstop for the past 2 years. I'm looking forward to seeing adults again.
Fortunately, there's one kids game that is better than all the others this year. That's the Kids Game Award, and the nominees are
Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart.
Metopia,
Death's Door.
Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury.
And the winner is
Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart.
Hi, I'm Marcus Smith, Creative Director of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We are honored to win this year's award for Best Kids Game. We enjoyed making this game, and we love that it can be enjoyed by anyone, no matter their age. On behalf of the entire Rift Apart team and everyone at Insomniac Games, thank you for voting for, and more importantly for playing, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
Congratulations. You know, I love that game. Next up, we have the Freedom Tower Award for Best Remake. Now, I've personally found a lot of excitement in playing remastered games like Resident Evil 2 and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. The best remakes feel like new games altogether.
Exactly, Reggie. Playing them on the new systems opens up a new world. It's full of the best of the past and the present. Now, presenting the Freedom Tower Award are two wonderful writers. Here's Sumit Sarkar from Polygon and Sarah Clemens from Unwinnable.
Remakes are a solidly booming business in the video game industry. Who doesn't want to recapture the thrills of their youth in the glorious high definition of today's modern tech?
In a lot of ways, 2021 felt like its own kind of remake. So it's fitting that some of the best games of the year were, too.
From post-apocalyptic zombies to charming monsters to classic platforming to diplomatic or renegade dialogue trees, this year's remakes offer plenty of opportunity to relive our favorite gaming memories while making some new ones along the way.
Our 6 nominees are tried and tested fun. They offer both a familiar comfort and a new, optimized way to experience their classic stories. A perfect entry point for newbies and an opportunity for old-timers to indulge in a little hard-won nostalgia.
The nominees for the Freedom Tower Award for Best Remake are
Resident Evil 4 VR,
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl,
Shadow Man Remastered,
The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles,
Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury,
Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
And the winner is...
Resident Evil 4 VR!
Woo!
Hi, my name is Jonathan Zamkoff, and I'm the VP of Business Development at Armature Studio. When our partners from the studios at Meta approached us with the opportunity to be the lead developer of Resident Evil 4 VR, we were thrilled. Here was a chance to add modern, unique, brand new mechanics in VR to one of the most iconic games of all time. This project could not have come to life without the incredible partnership between the studios at Meta, Capcom, and Armature Studio. We set out to write a love letter to the Resident Evil franchise, and each of the partners brought unique and world-class expertise to the project. On behalf of the team here at Armature, I would like to say thank you to the hundreds of people across the globe who came together to bring this project to life. A special thanks to the New York Video Games Critics Circle for the nod. And lastly, and most importantly, a giant thank you to our fans across the globe who fell in love with Resident Evil 4 again, or for the first time. Thank you.
Congratulations. Next up is the Statue of Liberty Award for Best World, an award inspired by the beauty of exploration, of new experiences, and thrilling art in games. And to present the award, here are 2 of the best actors in video games today. Here are Maggie Robertson, and you know her as Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village, and Nicole Tompkins, who plays 2 of Lady D's daughters, Daniela and Elena.
I really hope that worked. Yay! Hello everyone, and welcome to the 11th annual New York Game Awards. I don't know about you, Nick, but I am so excited to be here.
Absolutely thrilled to be here. We love the Best World category because it is all about the incredible worlds that get created within games, the beautiful artwork, the stunning vistas.
And don't forget about the revolting monsters and frightening vampires. Okay, I'm done. And now, the nominees for the Statue of Liberty Award for Best World are...
Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
Chicken Police, Paint It Red.
XO1.
Far Cry 6.
Monster Hunter Rise.
Psychonauts 2.
Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart.
Resident Evil Village.
And the winner is...
Psychonauts 2!
Hi, and thank you for this great award. The World of Psychonauts 2 was a great team effort. It took so many people from so many disciplines to make a world feel believable and real. And it could be the art, it could be the sound, it could be the characters walking around, it could be the effects, it could be, it's really just all those things put together. I do want to especially name our art director, Lisette Teacher Montgomery, and our lead environment artist, Jeffrey Solis, and our lead designer, Seth Marinello, for imagining and reimagining these spaces so much to really make a world that felt inviting and a world that players would want to come to and come back to over and over again. And them and the rest of the team, I want to thank them. And on behalf of them, I want to thank you for giving us this great award.
For a few years now, GenVid has been a major donor to our nonprofit programs in games journalism and games narrative. Recently, GenVid gave our interns a unique creative challenge. Here's what happened.
Hi, I'm Michael Marrero, the Community Engagement Manager at GenVid, here with our latest Facebook instant game, Pac-Man Community. We reached out to the New York Video Game Critics Circle and 4 of their interns to make mazes for Reggie and Harold based on things that inspire them. In Pac-Man Community, anyone can create mazes and play with friends right from their computer or mobile device. First off, welcome. I'm happy to finally meet all of you. All right, maze creation. So we've got several important elements here. We have the starting point for the Pac-Man. We've got our Pac dots, walls. As we saw with all the other ones, there are walls that kind of frame everything. All right, let's go ahead and fire up the game and start making mazes on our own.
See, I've messed around a little bit.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well. Close.
I'm super happy with how it turned out.
I'm digging it.
There's a couple things I changed.
The AI behaviors of the ghost is a major consideration in your design process. I think that's going to be fun.
I can't wait to get to the end and then make it through and say, you know what, I beat this maze that I made myself. I think that's going to be so much fun.
All right, well, that about does it. Thank you, everyone, for participating in making mazes.
Right, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is never done anything like this before. I had so much fun.
Harold, when their work was finished, we got a chance to check out our interns' Pac-Man community creations, and we'll have our reactions for you later in the show.
You know, beyond our reactions, you can see our competitive spirit shine as Reggie and I go head to head in Pac-Man community.
You know, I definitely got into Reginator mode, Harold, and I'm sorry about that. Now, because many games from the big publishers were delayed this year, indie games have taken the spotlight even more than in the past. You know, I love the innovation which indie developers bring to the world of video games. From some of the smallest indie developers have come some disruptive, brilliant ideas, all around genius.
They've meant a lot to us too, Reggie, and personally, the heart and soul present within indie games I've played helped me get through this very difficult year where we had to pivot from a live show to a virtual experience. The circle always will be indie in spirit, and we're always up to trying something new and imaginative.
To present the Off-Broadway Award for Best Indie, here's Nick Capizzoli, our brilliant journalism chair, and Jordan Miner from PC Mag. And Jordan himself is finishing his first book, Video Game of the Year for Abrams Books.
Jordan, you know me. I hate it when these corporations put politics in my video games.
I've always heard that about you, Nick.
That's why I love independent games.
Sure, that tracks. Yeah.
Because they stand apart from all that. They're games that won't be held back by dogmatic ideologies like Democrat or Republican. They understand the horseshoe theory of game development. On one side, you've got Mario. On the other extreme, you've got Wario. And they're both equally bad.
AAA games wish that they could be this brave. Yeah.
Independent games stand in the center, a sensible, pragmatic third way for the future of video games. Jordan, these are games that still believe, like I do, in a little old-fashioned thing called compromise.
Wait.
You're not afraid to cross the aisle if it means blocking a $15 minimum wage.
Wait.
So in that maverick spirit,
Okay,
the nominees for the Off-Broadway Award for Best Indie Game are
Death's Door, Little Nightmares 2, Before I forget, Ender Lilies, Quietest of the Nights. Wildermyth. Sable. Genesis Noir. Chicory, A Colorful Tale. And the winner is Sable.
Hi everyone, Greg and Dan from Shedworks here.
Thanks so much for the award, and we want to thank the team that helped us make the game and Raw Fury, our publisher, for all of their support throughout development.
It means so much to hear how much everyone's been enjoying Sable, and thank you so much for all your support.
Congrats. If it weren't for great writing and dialogue, many of us writers would be out of the world of games by now. But the narrative just gets better and better. This year, we had everything from thoughtful social justice expansiveness in Life is Strange True Colors to the empathy surrounding mental health in Psychonauts 2.
Here to present the Herman Melville Award for Best Writing in a Game are Patrick Lucas Austin from Time and Cherie Smith from Laptop Magazine.
Whether gathered around a campfire or a raucous table at your favorite bar, telling stories has been part of humanity's shared history for generations.
That legacy continues in games, where a story can be the difference between an underwhelming experience or an epic, engaging adventure that keeps you coming back for more.
Stories touch our hearts, and through the power of video games, we can even be part of these fantastic tales we otherwise couldn't have dreamed of.
And with that, here are your nominees for Best Writing.
Strangeland,
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy,
Persona 5, Strikers,
Resident Evil Village,
Chicken Police, Paint It Red,
Psychonauts 2,
Life is Strange, True Colors.
and the winner is
Life is Strange, True Colors.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Zimmerman, and I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of the writing team for Life is Strange True Colors. Ryan Clements, Deandra Warwick, Mallory Littleton, and Felice Kwan. And Zach Garris, our game director, who I am so fortunate to have as a mentor and a friend. This award is a reflection of the culture at Deck 9 and the value that our entire studio places on storytelling. Being narrative director at Deck 9 is the greatest job in the world, and that's because of the brilliant artists, devs, and administrators we get to work with. I also want to thank everyone at Square Enix for supporting us and championing us. And personally, I want to thank all of the families during the pandemic for putting up with us, tolerating our weirdness and obsessiveness, supporting us, and allowing us to get to finish this game. Most of all, I want to thank the fans, the Life is Strange community, who embraced us with Before the Storm and continue to motivate us to push boundaries and to tell better and bolder stories. This is the most inclusive and vibrant community in all of gaming, and it's such a thrill to be a part of it with you. Thank you, New York Game Awards.
When I joined the New York Video Game Critics Circle board, I didn't know how fast the group would grow and expand creatively to help others. A nationwide writing competition, mentoring homeless students, a class about social justice, playwriting, and games. The Circle is always trying new and innovative methods so that underserved students can learn and grow. We want you to know that the Circle works with a number of partners, and here's Harold with shout outs to those whom we have helped and the good folks who are helping us.
Thanks so much, Reggie, for your constant evangelism about the work we do. You're always there for us as an inspiration and always there for me as a friend when the complexities of running a nonprofit arise.
It's been my pleasure, Harold. Now, please take it away with the thank you segment.
Folks, I've been so busy with our nonprofit work this year. I haven't written as many reviews as I should have. But giving young people the tools to express themselves with words and games and a possible pathway to success is super rewarding. I want to thank our nonprofit partners, BronxWorks, Gateway Housing, Tapco School in the Bronx, Bronx Start, and the Dream Yard Project. I want to thank our friends who are helping us to underwrite the expansion of our programs, the New York City Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, Microsoft, Rockstar Games, Amazon Games, and Genvid. All of you came through big time this year. Thanks also to Nintendo, MSK, Ubisoft, the awesome Mike Wilson, Devolver Digital, Bethesda Softworks, Square Enix, and Catherine and Jeffrey Soros for their kind help. Thanks also to Gearbox Software and Samsung Gaming Hub. Right now, only 2% of Black Americans are employed in the games industry. Think about that, 2%. It's changing, but it has to change far more quickly. Using the power of video games to help young people of color develop communication capabilities to get employment, that's always a worthy cause. And then there's the circle. The brilliant Professor Helen Pfeffer has helped inspire students and carefully comment on their stories from day one. John Azalona, Victor Calagianis, and George Jimenez work extra hours as our intrepid creative and tech team. Cherie Smith speaks to students, offers sage advice, and helps me mentor every time I ask her to. Mabel Chung gives selflessly when it comes to media relations, and when we need it most, production. Rob Smith was super helpful with logistics and fundraising in Los Angeles. Whitney Mears heads up our social media team and mentors with me as well. Just a few more thank yous. Devin Delaquante and Daniel Radaj from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah always come through with searing comedy. And Saturday Night Live guitarist Maddie Rice comes back year after year to bring us superior playing and singing. And finally, our senior interns Kamari, Rennis, and Ronald Gordon shined as the very first interns inside Rockstar Games this year. Our Isaac Espinoza, one of the first students who took our classes, gets better and better as a writer and assistant mentor. And right around Christmas, we began teaching a groundbreaking experimental course at TAPCO, theater-oriented school in the Bronx. Steve Spera, the art educator there, has rounded up a smart group of students to write one-act plays based on games and the issues surrounding games. These plays will result in 3 scholarships for the best writers. So thanks to everyone, and there's much more to come.
And thank you, Harold, for the work you do as you spearhead these partnerships and projects. It is a huge role to spearhead the mentoring activity, to engage with the various locations where we do our good work, to partner with the outside organizations and corporations that help fund our work. You are tireless in your support of the community and your leadership of the New York Video Game Critics Circle. From all of us, thank you, Harold. And folks, this year, the New York City Mayor's Office took notice of our nonprofit work, and in tandem with Lehman College, they suggested shooting a video at BronxWorks, a network of homeless residences at which we mentor.
You may have seen a short version of the next video on New York One or even in a New York City taxi. It came out so well, we want to show the full version to you right now. To introduce the video, we're happy to welcome Commissioner Ann Del Castillo from the New York City Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment.
Hello, and thank you, Harold. It is wonderful to be here with you and Reggie and the entire team at the New York Video Game Critics Circle to celebrate the New York Game Awards. On behalf of the City of New York, we wish to congratulate all of the nominees at this year's awards. The Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment works to strengthen and support New York City's creative economy: film, television, theater, music, advertising, publishing, digital media, and nightlife. Together, these sectors represent $150 billion in economic activity for New York and close to 500,000 jobs for New Yorkers. The digital games industry is a big part of our creative economy. As someone who grew up on Pac-Man and spent many a Sunday afternoon at Chinatown Fair while my mom was grocery shopping when I was a kid, I can personally attest to New York City's long-standing history with the games industry. But for a more accurate assessment, last year, we released the first ever economic impact report on the New York games industry, which showed that the industry supports nearly 8,000 jobs for New Yorkers, $762 million in wages, and $2 billion in economic output. And the industry is still just emerging. The number of jobs in the industry here has tripled since 2008. And so the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment is working to promote this industry. Through support for events like this, the New York Game Awards, we are also extending the Made in New York trademark to video games created and developed right here in New York City. And in the spring, we'll be launching the Made in New York Marketing Credit Program for digital games, which will offer free marketing and promotion for digital games made right here. We are also proud to support the expansion of the New York Video Game Critics Circle internship program to support next-generation talent by connecting them to industry professionals and hands-on experience in reviewing, writing about, and marketing video games. We appreciate the efforts of the New York Video Game Critics Circle, whose work provides scholarships, social justice journalism classes, and paid internships to underserved and homeless high school students, which helps bring diversification in this industry. We were delighted to feature the Critics Circle in a series that we produced in partnership with Lehman College called Shift NYC. And we're happy to share that video with you tonight.
The New York Video Game Critics Circle is a group of 40 critics and paid interns who come together to work in the world of video games. We work up here in the Bronx primarily to bring games and journalism to underserved communities.
When you're going through a video game, you're experiencing that story for yourself. Video games can kind of give that level of storytelling that some books can't really match.
We want kids to have fun, but we also want them to think about what's going on in the game, what the narrative like, what the art is like, what went on in the game creator's mind to move you through a level or move you through a chapter in a game.
I think the pandemic in general has really forced us to be more creative and strategic. Bronx was one of the hardest hit areas. It has been challenging to find housing opportunities. School attendance and remote learning in general has been a huge transition for us in the family shelter.
Social isolation, right? They're away from their school community as well, their own peers, their own family members potentially. All the typical traumas and circumstances that our families were typically experiencing were exacerbated during this pandemic.
This has been wonderful for families to just keep them engaged.
Since the pandemic began, we've had about 10 interns who write reviews for us, help us with social media. We also put on every year the New York Game Awards, and that is about 500,000 people watching us online.
There are so many jobs in the gaming industry these days: writing, drawing, musical, directory jobs. Games are not a waste of time because they are investments into people's future.
We're like a family here. That is like my great honor to have a group of kids that feel comfortable and welcome at the New York Video Game Critics Circle.
That video says it all about the work the Circle does. Thank you, Commissioner del Castillo. Now, here's our most beloved ongoing segment. It's wonderfully imagined by our former host and Emmy award-winning writer, Devin Delaquanti, from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Here's Devin's in memoriam video.
It looks like a draft, and it's full of explicit descriptions of how unhappy Jonas is with Zoe and his
So, do you think that this is a gold bolt or something? No, we just fall right through it. I'm gonna get eaten. What the?
Oh my god.
That segment never gets old. Devin is brilliant.
He really is. How he, Daniel, and The Daily Show with Trevor Noah writers come up with fresh new takes on the news every day constantly amazes me.
You know, perhaps the Circle's most painstakingly researched award is our yearly Knickerbocker Award for Best Games Journalism. Nick Capizzoli, our journalism chair, scours websites and blogs for important stories year-round, and he compiles a long list of reporting, investigations, and criticism.
Then the journalism committee meets at a dive bar on Christopher Street in Greenwich Village. Over drinks, they heatedly argue about or advocate for, and then painfully reject, worthy stories. Ultimately, they come up with a potent list, which all of our members vote upon. Now, here's someone you all know from his long history in games journalism. Here's Stephen Totillo from Axios to present the nominees.
Great games journalism is simply great journalism. It exists primarily to tell the truth, whether that's a truth we want to know or not, whether that truth excites us, intrigues us, or makes us uncomfortable, perhaps even all three. That great journalism is seldom the byproduct of one person. For investigative reporting, it depends on sources who put their trust in the reporters to whom they tell their stories. For reporting and for criticism, readers drive expectations and peers drive inspiration. Editors also help shape stories and eliminate M-dashes. The New York Game Awards use this award to honor great reporting and great criticism, work that illuminates truths around us and the truths in what we play. The nominees for Best Games Journalism are Rebecca Valentine, for her work investigating workplace misconduct at video game studios, and for elevating marginalized voices in her coverage of a game about the war in Iraq. People Make Games, for their video investigations into the outsourcing of bad labor practices and Roblox's treatment of young game developers. Megan Farokhmanesh, for shining a light on the impact of layoffs on immigrant game developers. And a personal note here, Megan is a coworker of mine. I think her work is excellent, but I recuse myself from the selection process. Zoyander Street for their insightful critique of video games, including an exploration of clothing and queerness in The Witcher 3. Renata Price for their bold, thoughtful, and personal game reviews of Sable, Disco Elysium, and many others. Kirsten Grind, Sarah Needleman, and Ben Fritz for their expose about Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick's knowledge of sexual misconduct allegations at his company. And the winner is Rebecca Valentine. Congratulations.
Thank you so much to the New York Video Game Critics Circle for this honor. This was such an amazing group of writers to be celebrated with. Thank you to all my colleagues at GamesIndustry.biz and IGN for being just incredible, supportive teams, and especially my editors who have spent time and energy and thought to make my writing and investigative work better. Brennan Sinclair, Matthew Handerhan, James Batchelor, Joe Scrubbles, Kat Bailey, Tina Amini, and Matt Kim. You're all wonderful. I'm truly grateful to everyone who spoke to me in any capacity at all for something I wrote this last year, for taking the time and energy and often risk to tell me about their experiences making games. And I'm grateful also for the support and recognition and space I've been given by this industry and the people who read about it to keep doing reporting like this. I hope to be able to continue telling stories of how the games we all love so much get made for a long time to come. Thank you.
Congratulations, Rebecca. What a thrilling year it was for journalism. And that includes the best game journalists who continue to report and write clearly, without prejudice, about the video game industry.
Reggie, now it's time for a brand new award. It's the Elizabeth Jennings Graham Award for Best Educator. Ms. Jennings Graham was a groundbreaking African-American civil rights advocate and school teacher in New York City back in the 1850s. The first award goes to Professor Helen Pfeffer, our senior editor. Helen mentors our interns on a weekly basis. She has done so since our mentoring programs began. 8 years ago, Helen and I went to the Dreamyard Prep School to begin the Circle's journey of outreach to help students with their college essays. Now, she brilliantly edits students' work and has really helped Isaac, Kamari, and Ronald become very, very good writers. She works with our other interns as well. Helen teaches writing, social media, and journalism full-time at Brooklyn College and is an adjunct professor at Manhattan and Marymount Manhattan colleges. She's also my partner and advises me on so many things Circle-related that it would take too much time to mention them all here. Helen Pfeffer, congratulations on receiving our Jennings Graham Award for Best Educator.
Really seems like I wrote that intro myself, doesn't it? It's an honor and a privilege to be the recipient of this award in its inaugural year. Thanks so much to the New York Video Game Critics Circle for its recognition. I've worked with college students for nearly all of my teaching career, so I was grateful to be able to expand into this new area and offer my guidance to the Circle interns. These young people put such effort not only into each review that they write, but into the continued development of their craft. I'm usually only in contact with the college students for a semester or two, but with the Circle's interns, I can watch them hone their skills over several years, which is wonderful to be able to watch. One thing that makes my job easier is that the interns are already passionate about games, so their contributions always feel wholehearted and enthusiastic. I might start out just correcting their grammar or suggesting ways to incorporate more information into their game reviews, but before long, I'll see them begin to explore ways to express their unique styles and points of view. Their reviews become more evocative and more elegantly constructed, and they cultivate their voices as writers. I feel very lucky to be a part of that, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for them. So once again, I'm very proud to accept this award, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to be part of the Circle.
Professor Pfeffer, thank you so much for your service. Congratulations. Now, for our second Jennings Graham Award for Best Educator this year. Folks, Rudy Blanco has been instrumental in refining our program at the Bronx's Dreamyard Project. In fact, the Dreamyard Prep School is where our program first began. And the school is just a couple of miles from where I lived in the Bronx. It's also where I mentored even before I was officially part of the circle. Rudy is a force of nature, beloved by students, educators, and writers alike. Just as he's learned about journalism from Harold, Harold has learned about educating students from him. Inspired by our work together, Rudy convinced the DreamYard Project to create Bronx Start, the first physical space for arts education and games in the Bronx. It's a place of excitement, knowledge, and solace for underserved kids. I know because I've spoken to students there as well. Rudy, congratulations on receiving our second Jennings Graham Award for Best Educator.
Good evening, familia. My name is Rudy, and I am so pumped and so honored to be here today accepting the Educator Award at the New York Game Awards of 2022. I want to start off by thanking the New York Video Game Critics Circle for their unending support in helping us create the first ever journalism and gaming program at the DreamYard Project in the Bronx, and to date awarding tens of thousands of scholarship dollars for young people in our communities to write things like game narratives, poetry, and even design levels around the BIPOC experience. I want to thank Harold Goldberg and Cherie Smith, two members of the Critics Circle who, for the last 7 years, I've worked so closely with, and every single conversation I have with each of you just keeps widening my understanding of this industry and exactly how much room there is for all of us and how big the industry is, especially for people who are being left out of the stories. And finally, I want to end by giving a huge shout out and a thank you to the former students and alumni, Kimari Rennis, Ronald Gordon, and Isaac Espinoza, who to date are currently interns at the Critics Circle. And I don't think that without them, I would have ever stopped to explore careers in gaming beyond the development track. I am so grateful that we've all had a chance to work together, and together we are training the future voices of gamers and creatives who will hold this industry accountable. Thank you so very much for this honor, and I am looking forward to continuing this work for the many, many more years to come. Cheers, everyone.
Here's to more innovation, Rudy. Reggie, during the summer, we were in a small town called Phoenicia in the Catskill Mountains. At a tiny music festival there, we heard a young artist from Woodstock who was singing a song about games and LARPing on the ukulele. I'm thrilled to have Ollie Milford with us in their New York Game Awards debut.
Hello, my name is Ollie Milford, and this is a song I wrote about the classic Dungeons & Dragons character, the cleric. I'm used to wounds, I'm used to gore, I'm used to blood and so much more. I use my magic to fix. Along with all my medical tricks, a cleric's purpose is to heal. So I don't let myself feel any emotions, not even the notion, until your gleaming sword, your gleaming eyes. When you arrived, you caught me by surprise. I shake your hand, I get your name. When you smile, it sets my heart aflame. As time goes, my feelings grow. You played along, you seemed to know how I felt. But one weekend, you introduced me to your new boyfriend. I am a cleric, but there's wounds I cannot heal, like the ones you placed upon my heart. They felt so real, they hurt like imaginary stab wounds through the chest. I tried my best to fix them, but magic can't help us here. You and your team, you and your pair, you go fight monsters like I care. You are victorious every time. I wish I didn't wish you were mine. Then come one day, you were attacked, your partner dead. You crawl back, you ask for a bandage or a heal. I am frozen as you fall and kneel. I am a cleric, but there's wounds I cannot heal, like the ones you placed upon my heart. They felt so real, they hurt like imaginary stab wounds through the chest. I tried my best to fix them, but magic can't help us here. As you double over in pain, I ask myself, what is my aim? To let you die? No, just to let you suffer. But the light in your eyes dims as I grab hold of your limbs, but it's too late. It's too late. am a cleric, but there's wounds I cannot heal, like the ones I'd placed upon myself. They felt so real, they hurt like imaginary stab wounds through the chest. I tried my best to fix you, but magic can't help us here. I am a cleric, but there's wounds I cannot heal, like the ones you placed upon my heart. They felt so real, they hurt like imaginary stab wounds through the chest. I tried my best to fix you, but magic can't help us here. No, magic can't help us here. Magic won't help us here. This is Better the Mask by Japanese Breakfast for the game Sable. Something happens every day. Whether or not you're part, no matter if you wait, but if you're bold and try to find whatever waits, whichever end you play a part. And if in time you find that you've doubled back, learn to rely on a future you made, in which it gets better. Thank you.
Ollie is a burgeoning talent, that's for sure. Thanks so much, Ollie. Now, here's senior intern Kamari Rennis, along with intern Makeda Byfield. They're presenting our Coney Island Dreamland Award for Best AR/VR Game.
Hello, my name is Kamari Rennis. I'm a senior intern at the New York Video Game Critics Circle, and I'm a game design major at NYU.
Hi, my name is Makeda Byfield, and I'm an intern with the New York Video Games Critics Circle. My journey with the circle began over a year ago in a class that they were offering in an ongoing partnership with BronxWorks. I've had the opportunity to review video games, meet some amazing people, and develop my writing while entering the gaming community. This same community was a source of socialization and relaxation for so many throughout the pandemic. These past 2 years, it seems like we all turned to other sources to escape this less than ideal reality. Some people binge watched their favorite shows, others found an online community, and in our cases, we turned to virtual reality.
So it's no surprise to anyone that virtual reality brings a new level of immersion to our gaming needs. As we are still in a pandemic, there are some dangers that keep us bound indoors. Thankfully, the only danger VR poses to us is maybe a misplaced chair in the living room. Whether we grasp two sabers jamming out to our favorite music or stop the flow of time in polygonal life or death situations, so long as we have a space to stand, that space can become any world that we want. So, looking past all the moments where we jump into flat screen TVs and bash our knees against coffee tables, let's announce the nominees for the best VR and AR games of 2021. The nominees are
Resident Evil 4,
Ragnarok,
Star Wars Pinball VR,
Traffic Jams,
Mare,
and Floor Plan 2.
and the winner for Best VR and AR games is Resident Evil 4 Armature Studios.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom Ivey, executive producer on Resident Evil 4 VR at Armature Studio. On behalf of myself and everyone on the team here in Austin and across the US, I'd like to thank the New York Video Games Critics Circle for this award. I'm just incredibly proud of our team and the care and the polish they put into this game. I also want to thank the teams at Meta and Capcom who were truly amazing partners and gave us just all the support and encouragement you could ask for. Finally, I just want to say, honestly, thank you to the fans for all the kind words and the feedback. It's really meant the world to everyone here at Armature, and we hope you enjoy everything we're going to be adding to the game in the near future. Thank you again, and good night.
Congratulations. Sometimes we forget that VR and AR are still forces to be reckoned with. But all of the games in the Dreamland category took us into another fascinating dimension of fiction. Resident Evil 4 VR was not only strong, but properly full of jump scares, fine writing, and thrills all along.
Now, here's what Harold and I thought of the Pac-Man community mazes our interns created, thanks to GenVid. In early January, these young writers not only made their own game, they learned about the game creation process from GenVid.
Reggie, it really was enlightening and an honor to see what our interns have done. And it was particularly fun to battle against you in Pac-Man community. Let's take a look.
So last week, we had several of the interns within the New York Video Game Critics Circle programs create mazes in Pac-Man community, specifically for you two to try out. You ready to get started?
I'm putting the glasses on. I'm getting in that Reginator mode.
I am ready as well. I can't wait to play.
So first off, this is a maze that Jade made.
Cool looking maze there.
Oh yeah.
I need to dodge these ghosts. They're on my tail.
Yeah, I really love the pixel art there.
Very well done, Jade.
So this is Ronald's maze.
I love the colors and the design.
I think I got it. Oh no!
The last pellet.
So this is Makeda's maze. She created the maze in inspiration of the New York Video Game Critics Circle Award Group.
That's very well done.
Makeda is brilliant.
Very creative.
A really interesting board overall.
All right, so next up we have Isaac's maze.
What looks to be a very challenging maze.
Oh no.
How did that happen?
Well, we got it. Gentlemen, what did you think of the interns' mazes?
I thought they were stellar. Just an incredible collection.
I thought it was very creative on everyone's part. You could see their style, not only artwork, but also game design.
So this was great. I really want to thank our partners at GenVid. This was an incredible experience. Thanks so much. And keep playing Pac-Man Community.
Thanks to our interns who did awesome jobs.
Now we have another cool surprise, right, Reggie?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Harold. Taking the stage is our friend Ryan Silbert. Ryan's the Oscar-winning producer of the live-action short film God of Love. He's also the co-creator of the best-selling Audible podcast, The Coldest Case, starring Aaron Paul and Kristen Ritter. Ryan's here to present the Great White Way Award for Best Acting.
Thank you, Reggie and Harold. The delightful performances by these 6 nominated actors are reflective of the New York Video Game Critics Circle's mission. These performances are across the board bold, representative, emotional, and in many cases a little frightening. Our 6 incredible acting nominees. Maggie Robertson, nominated for her haunting yet posh, elegant, and ready to slice your man hands off performance of Lady Demetrius in Resident Evil Village. Erica Mori, nominated for bringing to the screen the central themes of empathy and emotion with her performance of Alex Chen in Life is Strange, True Colors. Sarah Lise MacArthur, nominated for her portrayal of Thunderbird, whose representation on and off screen brought new dynamics to North Star Rainbow Six Siege. Ozuyama Okaga, nominated for her fully rendered performance of the caring, snarky, and shockingly fierce Juliana Blake in Deathloop. Michael Mando, nominated for inhabiting the role once again of the dangerous, brutal, yet charismatic Vas Montenegro in Vas Insanity Far Cry 6. And finally, Giancarlo Esposito, nominated for his role as the ruthless, yet cultured dictator Anton Castillo, whose refinement belies the terror he unleashes in Far Cry 6. And the winner is, for Best Actor in a Video Game, Maggie Robertson.
Wow. Okay. Yes, I would like to thank you so much to the New York Game Awards. It is my immense honor and pleasure to be here. I would like to give a really big shout out to my fellow nominees. Your work on these games has been so spectacular. It is because of you. It is because of you guys that I am continually inspired to keep pushing and growing and doing my best work as an artist. So truly thank you guys so much for that. Yeah, I would really like to give a big shout out to Capcom because you have created such an amazing game in a world that I want to just immerse myself in all the time. And I am just so honored to be even a small piece of that. To Steve Kniebly, our amazing cinematics director, Rosanna Sun, DJ Hawk with the Workhouse, and last but not least, my fellow castmates. You guys have really welcomed me into the Resident Evil family, and I'm so grateful to you because without the work that you guys did on this game, I would not be here. And yeah, okay, that's it. I'm done. Everyone, I love everyone. And I'm just very grateful and obviously flustered. So thank you so much.
Oh man, congrats to all the nominees. The acting in the games of 2021 was just so nuanced and varied. All the nominees hit it out of the park. But Maggie was so believable and nuanced despite her character's over-the-top nature, that she definitely deserves this award.
You know, folks, please take some time to click to the link below and make a donation to the Circle. You'll be glad you did, and I thank you for your support.
Reggie, I always say every donation counts, however small. Please take some time to give right now.
Now, here's the inspiring Saturday Night Live guitarist Maddie Rice to sing 2 songs from a game nominated in our Tin Pan Alley Award for Best Music in a Game. Maddie's also part of a terrific band called Big Wild. Maddie, the house is yours.
Hey pals, thanks for having me back. I've got a couple of sad songs for sad times for you from 2021's Life is Strange, True Colors. Hope you enjoy. When you were here before, I couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather
have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to notice when I'm not around. You're so very special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Oh, she's running out the door. She's running. She runs, she runs, she runs, whatever makes you happy, whatever you want. You're so very special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong. Walking Scott Street feeling like a stranger, with an open heart, open container. I got a stack of mail and a tall can. It's a shower beer, it's a payment plan. This helicopter's over my head every night when I go to bed. Spending money and I earned it, but when I'm lonely, that's when I'll burn it. Do you feel ashamed when you hear my name? I asked you, how is your sister? I heard you got her degree. I said that makes me feel old. You said, what does that make me? I asked you how he's playing drums. You said it's too much shit to carry. And what about the band? You said they're all getting married. Do stranger. Anyway, don't be a stranger.
Thanks a lot.
Wasn't Maddie excellent? She continues to hone her art and get better and better each year. Reggie, your word inspiring in relation to Maddie is exactly the right description. Now we have some folks who have been core circle members, but rarely have the opportunity to present awards.
You know, I'm happy to announce that the people who are instrumental in putting our show together, our hardworking creative and tech team, are here to present. Please welcome John Azalona, Victor Kalogiannis, and George Jimenez to present the Tin Pan Alley Award for Best Music.
So in getting the show ready this year, we didn't have time to make a new script. So instead, we're just going to read what each other said last year. Here's what we said.
Victor said that music has a way of making the most mundane fetch quests more interesting, boss fights more menacing, and epic victories more satisfying.
John mused that a sturdy swell or an emotional sting at the turning point of a major narrative reveal or tonal change can transform a powerful moment into an unforgettable one.
And George claimed that music can make anything better. You don't believe us? This may seem like a by the numbers award show nominee presentation, but add some royalty-free music. We found a line to slowly billow up as we talk, and just like that, we've made things more dramatic by at least 25%. That being said, here are the nominees for Best Music.
Sable. Life is Strange.
This is pretty sweet.
Colors. Chicory. A Colorful Tale. Genesis Noir. Far Cry 6. Everhood. NBA 2K22. And the winner is Sable.
Thank you so much, New York Video Game Awards, for the honor of Best Original Music. For Sable, I'd like to thank Greg Kithriotis and Daniel Feinberg from Shedworks for trusting me with their beautiful game, Martin Cavale for being the most wonderful partner in audio, Raw Fury and Sony, George Elbrecht for mixing, Alex Antilli who mastered the album, Molly Germer, and Craig Hendricks. Thank you so much. I shall wear this golden laurel with unbridled pride.
With Japanese breakfast touring and a wonderful best-selling book, Michelle became such a big star this year. I'm so glad she had the time to accept our award. Reggie, last year we began a partnership with Rockstar Games to offer a $10,000 scholarship to a student who's been living at a homeless residence. That amount is enough to cover a full year at a city college here, along with a healthy chunk of cash for tech items, books, and food.
Thanks so much to Rockstar Games for underwriting this award for students in homeless residences. We're proud to say that Brittany Santos won the Rockstar Games Scholarship with her terrific science fiction and social justice-oriented narrative about games. We've been in touch with Brittany, and she's excited about her scholarship.
Yeah, congrats, Brittany. And there's more good news. Rockstar will be back this year to offer another scholarship and to take on more Critic Circle interns.
Now, it's time for one of our most anticipated awards, the Andrew Yoon Legend Award.
Right, Reggie. Andrew Yoon was a co-founder of the New York Video Game Critic Circle, smart and promising in every way. He died way too young. But each year we honor his memory with the Andrew Yoon Legend Award.
There are many people, probably friends you know, with a passable sense of humor. However, there are very, very few people with a great sense of humor who know how to make great games.
Tim Schafer is pretty much the only game maker who has consistently honed his humor and satire to make great games. While he worked on Maniac Mansion as a scumlet, as he says, at LucasArts, his first killer dialogue came with The Secret of Monkey Island. Even in the names of characters, you can find inspirations from Charles Dickens and Kurt Vonnegut. In a preview of Psychonauts 2 for the Washington Post, I wrote, with Tim Schafer, you're in the capable hands of a master craftsman of language and animation. Schafer also knows his psychological foibles, and sometimes Raz, with his saucer eyes, brow-furrowed determination, and aviator goggles, makes you feel like the ultimate hero in a world of mind-bending wackiness.
Speaking as a past recipient of the Andrew Yoon Legend Award, I am sure this is a meaningful honor for Tim. It certainly is for me. Here's a video the Critics Circle created to honor Tim.
Listen, I'd like to tell you a story.
When I found out that Tim Schafer was getting the Legend Award this year, I was so excited because Tim Schafer has designed 3 of my top 5 games of all time, maybe 3 of my top 3 games of all time. And we were talking before about all of what our favorites are. I don't think you could pick. Everybody would have a different idea of which 3. And that just shows you the breadth of his career and how many iconic games he's made.
And the games that Tim Schafer was a part of to be more than just games. They were journeys to take a part in. Definitely some of the ones that will stick with me are, the Psychonauts just in general, because of how in-depth it went into what it explored and how it had tones of seriousness and also tones of comedy and this light and airy joy to it.
You can't really say point and click without thinking of Tim Schafer. You've got Curse of Monkey Island, you've got Day of the Tentacle, all these great games and styles and music. All of this makes up the magic that is a Tim Schafer game. What I've loved about Tim Schafer games when I was a kid were that they were always lighthearted and colorful, and they had these different art styles and music that you could really relate to. But as I've gotten older and I've gone through and played, particularly doing Psychonauts 2, a game where you're whimsically jumping into people's heads and curing their trauma.
Tim Schafer is part of my writing history in the world of games. I remember a bunch of us were at Entertainment Weekly when Grim Fandango came out, and we just did not know what we were experiencing. It was so different and so new and so funny. And Manny Calavera was such a great character. The soundtrack blew us all away. I think, as a former music critic, that soundtrack that year would have been on my top 10 list. I tend to really like horror-oriented games, and I think that's why I like Ken Levine's BioShock so much. One day I went into Ken's office to interview him about BioShock, and I was wearing a Grim Fandango shirt, and I kept that shirt really clean, bleached it. I only wore it on rare occasions when I was doing something important. And Tim and Ken asked me, "Is that a real shirt? Is that shirt real? Is that the original?" I said, yeah, man, that is the original Grim Fandango shirt that they sent out. And after that, he gave me a lot more respect than previously. So it meant to me how well respected Tim is, not only amongst fans, but within the industry as well. Well, I think that Tim deals with deep issues through humor. And I think
that's a way for a lot of us to deal with the complexities of life. So some of us do it better than others. I do it terribly, but Tim does it like a knife cutting through soft butter. Tim is a comic, but also a deep writer. So when you combine the two of them, you get what we can only call a genius.
You know, working now in comedy, I was inspired by his work as much as I was inspired by, you know, Seinfeld or Mel Brooks or George Carlin or Chris Rock or anybody who was, you know, a major comedian. Tim Schafer's games, they were that. You spent so much time with the characters and the dialogue that they were just formative for me growing up, and then even, you know, as I got older and then played games into adulthood. And now as a father, I can't wait to introduce my kids to them, you know, the same way that my wife and I were playing them when the remasters of all the games came out. I loved Monkey Island so much, and I loved Guybrush Threepwood as a character so much that the first time I went on a trip and I landed in the Caribbean, I got off the plane and I said the words out loud, "Hi, I'm Guybrush Threepwood and I want to be a pirate," because I had just arrived in the Caribbean. And I've never told anyone that I did that, and it's very embarrassing. So Tim, please don't tell anyone that story. I don't want anyone else to know, but I wanted you to know because that's how much those games meant to me.
How did Tim become one of the most influential forces in gaming? I think it's through a lot of different things. Number one, it's through creating so many cult games that have just gone on to have life after life. It's a little bit like the Velvet Underground. They didn't sell the most records, but they say that almost everyone who bought a Velvet Underground record went on to form a band. Psychonauts may not have sold the most copies, but a lot of people who played Psychonauts said, hey, I want to make games now because of this, and a lot of them are doing that exact thing right now. Number two, he really figured out how to do not just comedy in games, but comedy in very early games where they were in a proto state where you don't have the facial animation capture that you might have today, the ability to have these non-verbal cues and tics that are really part of what makes humor work on screen. Without any of that, just through the strength of the writing and the characterization and the art, he was able to bring out this very natural humor, even though we were using, you know, very frankly stilted, not terribly animated animation. And that by itself is just a tremendous feat, and he would be a legend just for that. But there's another thing that Tim has given us, and it's maybe even more important than the actual games and all the great humor in the games. He took gaming onto Kickstarter. He brought crowdfunding and gaming together in a chocolate and peanut butter kind of way, and basically unlocked this gate, this new way for games to get made, for content creators to bring their wares to the public, and for gamers and fans to be able to get involved in the production of a game and show their support by financially supporting the design and programming and publishing of games that they thought were really important, not what a big publishing company thought was really important.
When I first found out it wasn't called the Brutal Legend Award, I felt like crying, but that's okay. Hi Tim, congratulations on receiving the Critics Circle's Legend Award. You deserve it. I will say, the first time I played a Tim Schafer game was during one of the hardest moments of my life. The pandemic had recently started. I had moved to Connecticut from my home in the Bronx, and I was going through a major change in my life. My friend decided, in order to make me feel better, she sent me over a bunch of video games, and one of them just so happened to be Brutal Legend. And a lot of people will have different opinions about Brutal Legend, but to me, it holds a special place in my heart. In order to create something beautiful, you need to be able to understand what everyone's going through in order to get a story that's proper and appealing to an audience of thousands. And I will say Brutal Legend was a game that did that for me.
In this day and age, mental health is really, really important. And as we dive into these minds of these people, regardless of its childish or it has like Raz running around the Psychonauts headquarters and just you know, doing what 10-year-olds do, it's a really important thing. I will say Psychonauts 2 is probably the best game I've ever played. His ideas are out of the ordinary, and that's what makes them amazing. And I want to be just like him. He is an inspiration to me.
Tom Schafer. What can one say about Tom Schafer that hasn't already been said? I mean, this guy just dominated the Swedish curling scene in the 1970s. 4-time Swedish champion, 1973 world champion, arguably the greatest curler in Swedish history. Honey, I'm working. I asked you not to bother me when I'm working. What's up?
It's Tim Schafer.
Are you sure? Tim Schafer. What can one say about Tim Schafer that hasn't already been said? All right, enough with the shtick. Timmy, you magnificent bastard. I love you. Everyone loves you because you are somehow one of the most original and quirky creative minds in this entire industry. Please keep doing what you do forever.
Hey everyone, it's great to congratulate Tim on winning the Andrew Yoon Legend Award. Tim has always represented so much of what's great in gaming. Not only is he an amazing creative talent, but he also uses that talent to dive into issues that we should be talking about as society, and he uses his creative ability in gaming to bring those to the forefront. I've been able to be lucky enough to work with Tim for many, many years, and it's an honor to be able to recognize this award.
Congratulations, Tim Schafer. You 100% deserve this award. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So congratulations and thank you, Tim.
You've made a whole lot of people happy. Your games continue to make people happy and get through tough times. And I would like to thank you for being an important moment of my life.
Congratulations on this award. It is well deserved, and please, please, please keep making games.
Also, I thought it appropriate that I would wear my Ghost Pirate LeChuck shirt, the Big Whoop Brewery, so as a sign of respect to the man himself.
Tim, congrats on our Andrew Yoon Legend Award, and thank you so much for participating in our awards. The highest compliment I give to people is you rock. I say this a lot to folks that when they're leaving a job or getting a new job. So Tim, over the years, I've said in my mind you rock, and you continue to rock. So thanks again for all the great memories within your games.
Congratulations, Tim Schafer. You are a legend.
Thank you so much for this incredible honor. I love the name of this award, Legend. Makes me sound like some spooky story that game developers tell their kids to scare them at night. You better listen to your producers or you'll end up like Tim. Just such a great honor. And I think an award like this that's for like a whole career, I guess, is really an award for a collaboration, because I've worked with so many amazing people and I owe everything I have to these people I was so fortunate enough to work with throughout the 30 years I've been making games. And I started writing a list and I started getting really anxious about leaving someone off and hurting someone's feelings, and because I'm old and I forget things. And you know who you are. It's a lot of the old timers who I met at LucasArts when I started out. They taught me so much about writing and about game design. And a lot of the new timers, the young bloods at Double Fine, who came with new ideas and are always creatively challenging me and keeping me fresh and creative and afraid for my job. So that's really great. And also all the middle bloods. Is that a term? All the people that came in between all along. I've had so many great collaborators, both artists and programmers and producers and composers and animators and testers and people helping with community. There's so many, every person like that comes into the sphere of what we're doing has changed me and what I do in some way, and for the better. And I'm grateful to them, and grateful to my family, who I promised there'd be a fun trip to New York City coming, but they'll be fine. They'll forget about it. COVID. And I also want to thank, for getting me into this industry. The first job I ever had was at LucasArts Entertainment. So thanks to George and everybody. But I only got that job because I went to the Career Center at UC Berkeley, and UC Berkeley was tuition free at that time. So I got free college education. So I want to thank the taxpayers of California for spotting my education. And I hope someday college is free for everybody so that everyone can have the same advantages I had and had this amazing time like I had making games. And thanks to all the players for playing all the games, and thanks especially to the New York Video Game Critics Circle for this this fabulous honor. I wish I could be there in person because these events often have open bars and that would be fun. But this is still fun and it's still a great honor, and thank you so much.
All right, Reggie, all right. It's time for the big one, and we've been eagerly awaiting for this moment all night.
I'm as excited as you are, Harold, because it's time for the Big Apple Award for Best Game of the Year.
It's tradition for the newest members of the New York Video Game Critics Circle to present our Game of the Year award. So please welcome Carolyn Pettit from Kotaku, Alyssa Mercante from Games Radar, and Tony Polanco from Tom's Guide.
From adorable indie games made by small teams to massive big budget blockbusters, this year's Game of the Year nominees demonstrate that games at their best can thrill us, move us, and deliver all kinds of unforgettable experiences.
This year's nominees include outstanding new entries in series that have been thrilling players for decades, and games that give us entirely new worlds, characters, and creative visions.
The nominees for the 2021 New York Game Awards Game of the Year are Chicory, A Colorful Tale,
Dwarf Romantic,
Metroid Dread,
Resident Evil Village,
Psychonauts 2,
Life is Strange, True Colors,
Halo Infinite,
Deathloop,
Psychonauts 2. Congratulations!
Woo! 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 Yes! Thank you. This is amazing. This is such a great honor, and it's really great news. I think this is great news. It's personally, I approve of this. I think this is fantastic, and I want to just thank you, starting with all of our backers that helped Psychonauts 2 get started. I want to thank all our friends at Starbreeze for keeping it going, and I want to thank ultimately our great family at Xbox Game Studios for giving us a home and helping us complete this game in the manner it really deserved to be, to make it a great game, and to all the players who played it and enjoyed it. So thank you to you. And on behalf of the team at Dauphine, I want to say thanks to all of our families who supported us during this. And of course, most of all, I want to thank the team at Double Fine, the hardworking folks there who really put their heart and souls into this game to make it special. Thanks to you, and thanks to the New York Video Game Critics Circle for this amazing, amazing award. Thank you.
Woo! What a superb night. It was a real treat to see everyone in this virtual environment. Congrats to all of our excellent nominees. You've done the industry, your fans, and our critics proud.
Reggie, the Circle continues to do its best to work hard for the underserved during the pandemic. And it's been an absolute pleasure to host the New York Game Awards with you once again. What a great night. Congrats again to everyone, and buy Reggie's book.
Thank you. But look, please make a donation to the Circle. That's why we're here. Thank you, the audience, for joining us. Thanks to our students for working so creatively during the pandemic. And finally, congratulations to the New York Video Game Critics Circle for 11 years of awards and great work in the community.
Have an excellent night, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy.